Hello, everyone. Welcome to this next segment of your 10-Minute Business Coach. Today, we're talking about conflict management. My name is Gary White. I'm a business coach and consultant. I'm an executive director with the John Maxwell team, founder and owner of High Definition Coaching. It's my privilege to be with you today. So let's get right into it. When we talk about conflict management, I call it that because there's always going to be conflict. So I can't really in integrity call it conflict resolution, because conflict is nothing more than navigating an intersection. You're always going to have to navigate intersections if you're going to get from point A to point B. You have to navigate the intersection, and the intersection, it's got to be navigated, not invaded. Not invaded. So I want to share with you 3 principles of intersection navigation. I'm also going to share 2 laws of the 21 laws of leadership that really apply in navigating the intersection, conflict management. And then I'm going to give you my conflict management checklist. So these 3 principles of intersection navigation that we're going to touch on. If you're going to navigate an intersection, you want to avoid a collision. You're going to need to manage the conflict, and you really want to promote community. And that promoting community, you get the idea of whenever people are navigating the intersection safely, they get from one side to the other. That promotes community. You have to manage the conflict to promote the community, and you really want to avoid the collision. So let's look at these 3 principles individually and look at what contributes. So first, we're going to look at conflict contributors, things that are going to make it rise up in your organization. Well, you got traffic going in different directions. You got people with different agendas, with different priorities. You got multiple lanes. You got multiple signals. There's different communication styles. And one person has one perspective, another has another perspective based on their communication style. There's multiple sources of these signals. You not only have to know what to look for, but where to look for it. And then you got the pedestrians. And again, we're looking at this from the angle of navigating an intersection. Let's just throw a bunch of pedestrians in the mix, people walking right through the middle of what it is that you're trying to do, right? You can see those conflict contributors. And listen, these are just things that just happen every single day. These are just things that happen every single day. So let's look at the things that are community contributors, things that are going to contribute to the safe passage from one side of the intersection to the other. Well, one is how you approach it. Are you even in the correct lane whenever you approach that intersection? Patience is going to be your best friend. Timing is going to be everything. The care that you take in passing through that intersection. Are you careful or are you careless? And I love this last one because there's nothing more frustrating than someone sitting in the middle of an intersection and they're not moving. Now, you talk about horns beginning to blow. Well, it's the same way in our organizations. Whenever that conflict arises, we may have the tendency to just clam up. We may have the tendency to just lock ourselves in our office and don't come out. If the conflict is there, we must engage in the conversation, or else we're not taking any action, or else we're just sitting in the middle of the intersection. So those are things that contribute to the community. Now, the collision contributors. This is the one that I really love, because our youngest son, when we were teaching him to drive, he has a communication style that being correct is very important to him. Being correct. And because of that, he doesn't want to be criticized, because being correct is just important. And so we were navigating an intersection, and he had the right of way, and another car cut him off. And well, he initially wasn't going to stop. Of course, Riley, put on the brakes, son. But I had the right of way, Dad. I was right. They were wrong. And if they had hit me, then they would have been at fault. I said, yes, son, you're correct. But the goal in navigating an intersection is not to be right. The goal of navigating an intersection is avoid a collision. Oh my goodness. When we come into conflict, We have different perspectives. We have different viewpoints. We have different styles of how we express ourselves, and the conflict arises. And if our goal is to be correct, I promise it's going to contribute to a collision. But if our goal is to avoid a collision, we're going to be much better off. Let's look at these collision contributors. If you bust through an intersection, you're going to contribute to a collision. Oh my goodness, how many times have we busted through an intersection, and maybe that looks like we just enter into someone else's conversation. We have half the information and we just bust through the intersection and we run all over everyone. Our blind spots, our communication styles, we have blind spots. Now, I don't have time today to get into all of this. There's a much deeper dive in our comprehensive conflict management course. If you would like to have that come into your organization, we could go into that deeper dive, and I'll show you at the end of this how you can get a hold of us. But we have blind spots in our communication styles that we don't realize that we're getting in someone else's lane because of these blind spots. We need to know what those are and eliminate those. Road rage. How many times has road rage created collisions, and how many times does that create collisions in the organization whenever someone says something or does something and we take it personal and we think that they got up that morning just intending to cut us off or get our parking place, get our spot at the table, and road rage. So you got to watch out for that. Poor conditions can contribute to traffic accidents, and poor conditions can contribute to a collision in the workplace. It really can. Reactivity, overcorrecting, reactivity. Sometimes rather than respond, we just react, and that can create a collision. Okay, so I want to share with you these two laws from John C. Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Number one, the law of navigation. It's extremely important if you're going to make it safely through the intersection of conflict, because the law of navigation says anyone can steer the ship, but it really takes a leader to chart the course, to get safely to the other side. Here's what navigators do. They see the trip ahead. You see the conflict coming. They draw on past experience. They examine the conditions before they commit. Before they commit, let's look at everything. And they listen to what others have to say. That one is absolutely huge. They listen to what others have to say. The next law I want to share with you is the law of timing, because you can't just have the law of navigation, be good at that alone. You have to have the law of timing, because timing is everything. Because when to lead is as important as what to do and where to go. You can navigate all day long, but if you don't do it in the right timing, here's what can happen. The wrong action at the wrong time leads to disaster, collision. The right action at the wrong time brings resistance. The wrong action at the right time is a mistake, and the right action at the right time, it results in success. Many of you right now, there are thoughts coming to your mind where you know timing was everything. If I had waited for the right time, or you might have plenty of colleagues or employees that come to you and you just know, hey, right now is not the right time. Now is not a good time for me to talk about that. Timing is everything. So let me give you a conflict management checklist. Whenever it comes up, if you'll remember these points, it will really help you safely navigate that intersection. Wow. Come to a complete stop. Pause for a moment. Pause for a moment. Before you go into that conflict, just pause. Take your own pulse for just a minute. Look both ways. Consider the other person's approach. Consider they may have blind spots. You may have blind spots. Look both ways. Make sure that you understand the other person. Yield the right of way. This one is huge. Yield the right of way. It's not always that you have the right of way. It's not always. Yield the right of way. Then determine your best course. You're in this conflict. How can we get safely to the other side? Because we've got somewhere we've got to get to. And then proceed with caution. Proceed with caution. I'll tell you what, there are some people that hold on to conflict for years and years and years, And that's nothing more than sitting in an intersection. You, you never get where you were destined to go if you stay in the conflict, if you stay in the intersection. You never get where you were intended to go. So there is such a thing as safely navigating that. Listen, from the John Maxwell team and High Definition Coaching, it's my privilege to have brought this 10-minute business coaching segment to you. I hope that this will help you begin to look at conflict in a different way and how you can navigate it in your workplace. And if you would like to learn more, and if you would like to have our complete comprehensive program brought to you to help you and your employees safely navigate those intersections, reach out to me at Gary@highdefinitioncoaching.com, Gary@highdefinitioncoaching.com. Take care, everyone. It's been my pleasure to be with you, and we'll see you in the next segment.